What is traveling about if it's not about finding the state of middle ground? A state of mind in which you are content with the balance in life, no matter how upside down it is at the moment. Although I worry if I would ever be able to find it. This is about that one time we went on a road trip to Manang. Manang is a Himalayan district around the Annapurnas and doesn't need much of an introduction. It was April of 2019. I remember the day starting with rain, which is a horrible combination with travel to begin with. The vehicle picked us up at our rendezvous. Despite the shitty start, I could feel the excitement in everyone's eyes as we were not simply leaving the rain behind in Kathmandu that day, but also our mundane lives temporarily in the hopes of finding the state of middle ground. In hindsight, I think I should have shaved. Nonetheless, we carried on. We managed to cross Besi Sahar, which is the gateway to the Annapurna circuit. That day, we reached a small settlement called Ngadi, and that's where we stayed the night. The start of the next day had a silent shittiness to it.
It's 8 a.m. in the morning and we are now heading towards Manang.
The road was wet, slippery, and a complete nuance. But as we moved further along, the complex beauty of Manang Valley slowly began to emerge out. We saw some really deep gorges in the narrow section of the valley. Then there were some spectacular waterfalls. And lastly, some very scary road sections that make you wish that you weren't there. To say we were soaking in every moment is an understatement, as we were shooting pans inside the vehicle and praying it not to be our last day. That day, we managed to cross Chame, the district headquarters of Manang, and reach a place called Dhikur Pokhari, where we stayed the night. Finally, a day with clear skies helped us keep our hopes high about the day.
Day 3 of our trip and everyone is having their breakfast as we speak. And we just have this majestic view right sitting up here.
I asked everyone how they felt about the road section we went through yesterday.
Adventurous. Surprising.
Everyone was terrified, but we were glad that we didn't have to endure such roads anymore, as that day we were about to go through the great plains of Pisang. This huge plain of Lower Pisang gave an astounding perspective on the vastness of the valley. Watching those mighty plains and mountains make you feel things you don't understand. It's okay to say that being in nature evokes emotion of a new kind within us, making us forget everything else. That afternoon, we reached the Manang village. The villagers were celebrating their yearly Metha Festival of archery. They welcomed us to their festival. That day, everything that came along our way enjoyed us deeply. And in the night, we woke up to watch Milky Way rising over the mountains. My middle ground just passed me by.
Today we are going from our hotel to this place, Chonkar viewpoint. I think it's around 7 right now, and we are expecting to make this ascent within 1 hour.
We reached the viewpoint at around 8 a.m. and we could see the Manang Valley in its entirety. It also gave us a closer look at the north face of the Annapurna tree. Once we headed back to the village, we went around to explore and met Mr. Tashi or Ghale. He is a wildlife photographer, wildlife conservationist, and a citizen scientist. He had many stories to share with us. Everything from taking his first photograph of snow leopards to the conservation efforts being carried out. He also took us on a stroll to a very ancient and pristine 700 years old monastery in the Vraka village nearby. We learned so many new things about nature, conservation, and cultures of Manang from him that day.
We are here at Vraka village and we are just hiking around the place, the Vraka Gumba, and we're capturing the village and the environment. It's really hard to express the grandeur. It's so huge and it's so big, but it's really hard to express this epic grandness.
I could not find words to describe the feelings that come from being close to the mountains. We didn't have plans of visiting Tilicho Lake or doing the classic Annapurna circuit trek via Thorongla Pass. So we just stayed relaxing and watching the mountains. Later that night, Tina and I woke up at 2 in the morning and went outside to witness the Milky Way in its all glory once again. It was worth leaving the warm bed in the cold to see something celestial happening in front of our own eyes. And then came the day of farewell. Hotel Alpine Homes was hosting our entire stay in Manang. I cannot thank enough to my brother Mr. Sonam Gurung for helping us with our travel project in the most generous way possible. Now please don't go to Manang and ask for free food. You know it doesn't quite work that way, but I'm sure you can feel the warmth of people even in those extreme cold Himalayan districts. While we were leaving, we were still longing for more of Manang and its magic. Sure, I would be back here again, given another chance.